like a hook tied to the end of a rope. Huh?
Perhaps it was a prop for...
Whatever it is.
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why?
Oh, Paimon knows! It's one of those tricks where you... And here's a broken vase.
Oh, her clothes are here. But
Right. Ugh. What is this place?
It seems someone...
Alone, perhaps.
But there are no other ways in. Oh, you're right. Let Paimon. Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
yes, let's head back up. Well, we've ascertained. Let's find a place.
Apologies for the wait.
So, what did the guards say? Did the
They believe the guards have checked.
So the tunnels become like a secret.
In other words, the
Charges?
That's right. This is how it... That's right. The statements from both... To put it simply,
This also precludes any kind.
once both sides, then fine.
Huh? So
In practice, yes, because we've checked.
They're concerned that we might be... And even if that were not...
I'm ready to break out.
whoa.
Of course, I just.
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together. I mean, what better way...
Breaking up. Just kidding.
What do you mean?
Huh?
Understood, demoiselle. Everyone, please come.
Wait, you're carrying a portable...
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselle's baking needs whenever.
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at...
Good one.
These three are quite the interesting group. From the way you had these two guys carrying up, but you ended up doing...
I was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
Paimon was just...
Well, I don't think it's... Don't underestimate. Anyway, give these a try.
Only three?
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to your head.
Tea is ready to be served as well. No need for concern.
All right, then. However, the magician twins could have...
Exactly. Why would...
The flower vase and the resulting in the shattering... Perhaps the criminal thought that's in...
Paimon thinks that makes...
True, but... The...
Could all...
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, nor does she have any motive. The guards...
Were we not... From the sound of things, your macarons are amazing, though, Navia. They smell great. They're nice and crisp and super sweet. What?
Please don't worry about it. At my
Now, besides, Paimon knows that if... Wait. Even you don't believe Paimon? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons...
All right, Malus, set up the stove.
Huh?
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Exactly.
as you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg.
Well...
Well, that's it for snack time. I don't know. It would be...
All right. Thanks.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to... I'll be back if I find an...
All right.
Just relax. Even if everyone else is besides.
Thanks, Navi.
Best of luck to you.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well,
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that
Well, now, don't you all look disappointed? That was to be expected, of course. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed.
Since both parties are present, firstly, in order for the...
yes, of course.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that, you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime.
Yes, that's correct.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady,
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you...
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone...
Huh?
Hey, hang on.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Look at those.
Well then, lady, of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the...
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that one. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has a... The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, I suppose. Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the
Hey, Linny. What?
order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true? Please answer my question, Miss...
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true.
I knew it.
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary?
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Order, Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn.
So you you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry, Travel.
Yeah.
Paimon, we based our entire net to set the wrong tone or...
I'm very sorry. I know you've clashed with, but our organism...
Right now, we want to save people. As many as...
That's right. I knew if it weren't for our respective identity, that's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some... The truth is very important, but being right. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade, but still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but... Right. Let's hear your answer first.
Of course. I'll answer any... We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is...
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to...
Well, nothing. As soon as I which should have been impossible, of course, that voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to... On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide...
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But, like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty bad. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusation... Huh?
Both parties have returned to their positions. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating...
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention, at this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective. When the flatbed trolley passed, he did not realize that the sound could finally... He used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange... So, Linney proceeded to... Afterward, Linney passed the unconscious Halsey to his And there you have it.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to...
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the... Seems this won't produce a particularly... According to Linny went... Linny didn't...
Attention! When the countdown started, but he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and... Paimon did it!
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the
That's right!
My reasoning?
If that's the case, then if Carol hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a...
That's right, you tell him! And that's why... Oh, well, your denial is very strident. I'll give you that. Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, you're saying that he wasn't.
That's right! Linny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't... This means that when the crime happened, Linny had already entered the basement via the vent. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof!
Well, to think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
The deceased's name is Cowl. Could there have been a third Halsey is the missing The deceased's name is...
That can't be...
Oh, is that...
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowl did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim. Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well. No one entered or left the Opera House through its The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the... Halsey's clothing was... The deceased's name is Cowl. Linny's The sound we heard may... It would have been tough for both people. Halsey's clothing was in... It would have been tough for both... Halsey's clothing was in the... Linny was not in the tunnel. The deceased's name is... Linny was not in the tunnel. No one entered or left No one entered or left. It would have been tough for both. The deceased's name is... No one entered or...
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having...
Look, since we're at a dead end, why, just like the trick as it transpired,
If only we knew how...
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has... It's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make...
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing... The deceased's name is... The vase was not broken by chance. It was used to...
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method...
How could a person ever be transformed into water? Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection.
even so, the truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps a new line of... Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings.
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, guards, please...
We are still examining the... We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell. The notebook in his back, the primordial sea. The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs. The notebook has many entries concerning... One of these tubes was... The notes also state, as such, we believe...
You've got to be kidding!
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy.
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was targeting that girl... Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please...
Of course. If we uphold this hypothesis...
Right! Like the metal hook! That would... Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
The deceased's name is... Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick. The water from the primordial sea. Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. I remember there was some... Now it seems like the hook... Now it seems like the hook... The rope that held the water. I remember there was something else within the inner. The water from the primordial sea. Now it seems like the hook. Lynette was in the magic box on. Lynette was in the magic box. I remember there was some. The rope that held the water. Now it seems like the.
In the original plan, when the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would when the balloon attached to the box popped. The water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down, and afterward, Cowl would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase, but he
Huh.
That actually links together.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even
Now, it seems like his notes mentioned he had.
On that note, I shall now invite him.
Thank you, Your Honor. And we found.
What?
That can't be.
Oh, I see. Does this not clear, my dear citizens? My lord. Vinny did not need to take. Having made modifications to the props before, but upon his return, and ultimately, he knocked Cowl out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up. Now, as much as I. Am I right?
We've used up all the. Is this the end of.
Oh no! Seems used.
I think we've all. I believe this is indeed. Now then, my. Excuse me, everyone.
Miss, I must add.
Oh, come on. Don't be. I'll show you an amazing. What?
No offense, miss, but miracles like.
Come on now, don't be. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them? And wouldn't such a. Come on, Lenny and but as the magic makers and stars of the.
I understand.
And voila.
Wait, isn't that...
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me.
That'll teach you to.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry.
What? What?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but that's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there, but I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Lenny was the...
Hey! No wonder you look from. Liddy even mentioned it.
Well, and I thought he even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede, so I wasn't go... I slipped out after the first...
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, had I known that...
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now.
This time, we need to. The strange sound. The flower. Lillian was a.
expected, her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicks the door open, producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion, Cowl leapt into the... He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief. Mistakenly believing the two broke the flower vase during the struggle with no way of escaping, she... She knew that
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting.
at this point, all the...
So bravo!
Now then, Lady for... Please answer the question, Lady...
What are you read? No, I have no further.
Wow.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice, the actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowl, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-select to cover up any evidence while committing the deed. Cowl thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause... He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box, and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel. If all had gone to plan, realizing that there was trouble, Cowl entered the tunnel and met Lillian. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the mat. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the... From this reconstruction of events, while there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated, this case, at least, can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision. As such, Linny and Lynette.
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve... How did you find the water from the primordial...
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not?
I suspect that the accomplice... I'm sure you know what you must do to...
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself...
I was just following. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups...
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know.
Yes! Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which, when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent mora off it.
And now he can no longer...
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected...
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
So, we're just going back now? That's...
Traveler, Paimon! Please wait.
Linny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now, but still. Let me thank you again for defending me to the... I guess. I didn't approach you with any As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because that was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us.
The knave? The one who controls controls the House of the...
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering. Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering to survive. I took to surreptitiously observing an older... I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner. To my surprise, we proved before long an aristocrat.
So you went from orphans to...
That was how we felt at first, too. As if, but I gradually did. He would constantly take me to...
That doesn't seem too...
And after one particular performance at a I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. The answer he gave me was... She...
Oh no. But what if
As far as outsiders are I managed to ferret out the... All I saw was the...
So... She...
That's right. She had rescued... Father, I mean, the knave. The House of the Hearth welcomes you. I was hesitant to trust, but she was also...
Oh... So that's how...
She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power when she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save...
So... She believes in that prophecy?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is current. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve. All of us house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine. We, to us orphans, the only connection we have...
So... From small...
It's all right. I just hope you can if you should need anything at all in the future.
Bye, Linny.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that... Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides! And given that there's new evidence from the trial...
Ah, I see. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that now.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new water. Wait.
Huh?
Well, Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't...
You don't have to twist mine on...
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we...
All right, then.